Hello everyone, this is Angela and welcome to my channel, Angie the ENTJ. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so that you'll know whenever I upload any new content. I learned from the West 4B movement. Shout out to Supreme. I love y'all. Hugs and kisses on the cheek. I learned about the university student, a young lady protesting in Iran about hijab. Let's watch the video and then I will be back.
یا خدا دارم میگن تو ماشین میکنه دارن تو ماشینش میکنن یا خدا
Okay, I'm back. You see, the police were harassing her about her hijab. So you know what she did? She stripped down to her underwear. In Iran, y'all. Or Iran, excuse me. Now, before I comment, let me give my little disclaimer that is featured in the majority of my videos. I am sharing with you what I know, but I never expect you to believe in what I believe. I want to make sure that's clear. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I know what I am seeing, and this is something that was also observed by ancient civilizations across the world and across time for thousands of years, if not longer. This energy is Sekhmet. That's what she is known as in ancient Kemet or ancient Egypt. In India, she's known as Kali, and she's also known as the Morrigan, as well as so many other names across different cultures. Yes, I am spiritual, disclaimer. Yes, I follow the Kemetic way of life, disclaimer. However, I am capable of explaining to you exactly what I am seeing without the expectation that you will follow what I do. I do not proselytize. That's not what this channel or this platform is about. What I am describing to you as Sekhmet or Kali or the Morrigan is an ancient personification of an aspect of femininity and how it reacts in situations that threaten her existence or that of her loved ones, especially her children. In previous videos, I explained this energy is a bold and brazen energy that does not give a crap about what people think or feel or whatever. This energy is very powerful and it will outmatch the masculine. When the women of Iran tore off their hijabs and began dancing around the fire, I called it out back then, and I said that it was the beginning stage of Sekhmet's energy. Listen, the next stage is for them to strip naked, which has already happened. After this, the rampaging of Sekhmet will begin, and I'm looking at Afghanistan too as I'm saying this. You see, at the root of patriarchy, this is what you all need to understand. At the root of patriarchy is an immature masculine who has a problem with living according to the expectations that nature has placed upon him. This is why in patriarchal societies, women are the ones who are carrying the daily workloads of the family, but don't have the rights. They don't have say-so in their own life. It's as if the only thing that's useful is her body, but anything from her neck up doesn't mean anything. But you can't sever her head, because if you do that, that stops everything else from working, doesn't it? That's why women are the ones who are carrying the daily workloads. And that's because the immature masculine is incapable of carrying his own weight. And we're seeing it over here a little bit now that women have backed up. You got a lot of guys out here that are felling and flailing and don't know what to do. Because they can't carry their own weight because they're underdeveloped. However, these underdeveloped, immature masculine males, collectively, he wants to be able to enjoy the natural benefits that comes with being a mature masculine who is in tune with nature, who gets along with everyone around him, who lives in harmony with natural laws and reality. He wants to have it without being it. This is why their societies fail. It's because they are unsuitable, they're incapable, and their issue, believe it or not, is not with women personally. It's with nature. And hear me out. Hear me out. Because I know it's hard for some people to grasp that. They don't have a direct issue with women if you look at the root of what's going on with them. They have a issue with nature. But you see, what happens is that most women follow what nature has in store for us with grace. We don't go against the grain of nature. For instance, we respect gravity. We respect the laws of physics. So that's why most of us live longer and have lower insurance rates when compared to men in general. We respect the fact that we will eventually age. So we tend to avoid things that will make our golden years painful. So we eat right. We go to the doctor on a regular basis. We exercise. We avoid situations that could potentially raise our stress levels or give us high blood pressure, diabetes, and all that other kind of stuff. So we respect nature, and we do what we can to live in harmony with nature's rules. And as a result, we end up benefiting in the long run. We end up healthier and wealthier and more educated and living longer. And so do people who are associated with us and take our advice. By contrast, underdeveloped or immature masculine energy is a childish risk taker. The masculine energy in and of itself is a risk-taking energy in general. There is some value in taking risk when it is calculated or a calculated risk. However, the immature masculine does not calculate the risk or takes into consideration how his actions will impact others or even himself. He does whatever he just wants to do, and he just runs headfirst into whatever direction suits him. That is until he hits his head against an obstacle. And when it is time for him to pay for the consequences or endure the repercussions of his actions, instead of learning his lesson and growing from it and becoming wise, what the immature masculine does is that he uses other people as a human shield against his own liabilities. This is why we have the hobo sexuals, because they did not properly invest the time and energy into their own self-actualization. Okay, so instead of seeing themselves as out on the streets as a way to grow and take advantage of opportunities so that they can do better for themselves, what do? They hide from the consequences of their hobo sexuality by using women and redirecting women's time and energy and resources as a buffer against the penalties of being an underdeveloped and therefore unsuitable male. They are the ones who would be eating the kids' cereal and drinking their Capri Suns instead of going out there and working and doing better and becoming a better person. And this is throughout patriarchies in general. They use women as a cushion against both the obstacles that they are going to run into, as well as the consequences of running into those obstacles. I said it back in April, around the time when the West 4B movement went viral, that the women in Iran, conservative Iran, that has been ruled as a theocracy for decades, that when they tore off their hijab, burned them, and began dancing around the fire, that it was the beginning stage of Sekhmet energy. However, if they don't, the next step is whatever you want to call it, but it will appear in the form of what ancients described it thousands of years ago as a corrective feminine energy. This is an energy that reacts. It goes for the jugular. It cannot be outmatched. And I see like everything from the women protesting wearing the hijab in Iran to other types of protests throughout the world. But the one where the women tore off their hijabs, that's a big one. That is Sekhmet's energy. That's just the beginning stage of Sekhmet's energy. Because Sekhmet is that bold, feminine energy that doesn't care. Her mouth is reckless. It comes out as it comes out. There's no filter. And she goes for the jugular. And also, I'm back. So the next stage that happens is that women will begin to strip naked. So we already saw them rip off their hijab. We already saw them dancing around the fire. Okay. The next thing is for women to strip naked. In the Hindu pantheon, they call this same Sekhmet energy Kali. And if you look at Kali, her hair is wild. And she's often depicted with bare breasts while she rampages after the men. And the energy has her tongue sticking out, signifying that she's speaking very plainly, even crudely. She does not care. She does not give a crap about a crap about a crap. She's going to tell you about yourself, and she's coming after you. So when I saw this footage of a woman in Iran wearing her underwear, walking around and shouting, and I'm sure what she had to say was not nice. As a matter of fact, listen, this is what happened. What happened is that they harassed her about how she was wearing her hijab. Okay. And then she basically said, screw it, I'm going to give you something to really complain about. Okay. That's the bold energy of Sekhmet. From what I have read, there are reports which are claiming that this individual young lady, this university student, has been deemed to have mental health problems and that she will be institutionalized in a mental hospital. Listen, let me tell you something. There is absolutely nothing wrong at all with this lady. What happened is that her boldness shocked the living daylights out of the police, and they didn't know what to do about it. And let me tell you something else. After this, the women will begin to rampage. And when they do, when they unleash, you will see the men crying. You will see them crying. That's how this energy works. I'm also looking at Afghanistan when I say this, because when it happens for the women of Afghanistan, it will be way more intense. This type of energy clears out the bullcrap. And when the bullcrap is cleared out, much like what happens when someone is ill and they go, like, say, for instance, they have a cancer, and then surgery is performed to remove the cancer, right? So once the cancer is removed, it's no longer spreading, it's no longer causing harm, then healing can happen. Well, Sekhmet's energy is also healing. So first she clears out the bullcrap like a surgeon, clears cancerous cells from the body. And then once the bullcrap is removed, you can see progression happening. And it'll happen in such a way where everyone can benefit. Everyone will start being healthier and happier. Which, like I said, it also shows Sekhmet's healing side, or the beneficent or beneficial side to Sekhmet being how she is. Sekhmet speaks plainly, and she sees the truth as is, and she will describe the truth as is. She has no problems with reality. And the ancients respected these qualities in a woman. They accepted that this is part of being a fully actualized feminine being. They accepted that if they wanted a balanced society that was peaceful, that this kind of energy is involved with it, and they did a lot to make sure that it stayed in balance. Because so long as it's in balance or in a state of homeostasis, then it means that it is a healing force. But once it's out of balance, it can be very destructive and chaotic. Sekhmet's husband is Ptah, or the energy that is personified as technology. So if Sekhmet is the wife, right, and it is the husband that goes to propose to the wife, it means that the husband is attracted to the wife. Y'all are following me? So if Sekhmet is the wife, Ptah is her husband. You understand? So basically what the ancients knew was that in order to have progress within a society, in order for there to be technological advancement, what comes with it is that it involves having women who are free to openly speak their minds. A society that prevents women from speaking their minds freely also prevents the progression of technology, because the masculine principle of technology is only attracted to the feminine principle of Sekhmet. The no nonsense, the devil may care, I don't give a ish about it, ish. The one that takes no prisoners, that version of femininity. And this isn't me giving an opinion, okay? You can take it like that, but I'm letting you know sincerely from me, I'm not giving an opinion. Normally when I open my mouth about things, I can attach it to some data, okay? And that data is that you can see it also reflected in the United Nations Human Development Index. The nations that tend to be wealthier, healthier, have citizens that are more educated, where the individuals have more opportunities, and coincidentally, they tend to have longer lifespans. They tend to be the nations where women have more autonomy and where they are free to speak clearly whatever's on their mind, and they're heard. The nations that tend to suppress the women's ability to be autonomous or independent and suppresses women's collective ability to speak freely, for an example, Afghanistan.
Here are all the things women are banned from doing in Afghanistan. Leave the house without a male guardian. Be treated by a male doctor. Visit a theme park or fun fair. Run a business, have a market stall, or work in a mall. Go to secondary school or university. Help provide humanitarian aid by working for a non-governmental organisation. Go to the gym or play sports.
They inadvertently suppress their capacity to progress as a society. That's the way this earth works. And when that happens, other realities come into play. You know, one thing that's been going on for a while is brain drain, or the migration of talented members of the society into places where there are better opportunities. And those places are generally going to be places where the women are free, autonomous, independent, and can speak without restrictions. The brain drain is something that has been happening globally for a while, especially from Iran and Afghanistan, as well as other countries. Okay, and with the brain drain, once that starts happening, other realities that come into play when women are oppressed and after this society experiences a brain drain is usually political turmoil, which tends to take some time to build up depending on the degree of conservatism in the society. We're even seeing it here in the United States. When you look at the brain drain from the rural areas, primarily into the urban areas. Because what happens is that the same people that they oppressed in the society went somewhere else and began to thrive, even to the point of being better off than their oppressors. And then afterwards, so after the oppression of women, after the brain drain that comes afterwards, the next step is that women tend to pull the linchpin of that society. And the reason why it is the women who pull it is because it is women's uncompensated, undervalued work that keeps that society moving in the first place. Because remember what I said earlier, at the root of societies that operate like this is an immature, underdeveloped masculine at play. So he's incapable of carrying his own weight. That's why he throws it on the women to do it. But while he does so, and when I say he, I'm speaking collectively, but I also understand that there are women who support patriarchies like this. So when he throws the weight onto the woman with the help of pygmies throwing the weight too, it makes it appear as if he's managing well. No, he's not. So when the women pull the linchpin and stop participating, that patriarchy collapses. This is why patriarchies invest so much effort into keeping women and their children uneducated, barefoot and pregnant, and in a so-called marriage with an unsuitable male who is nothing more than a foot soldier for the patriarchy in order to keep her in line by following their conflicting rules. Okay? This is what marriage in a patriarchy looks like. She doesn't have a husband. She has a guard keeping her in check. This is also why the red pill manosphere, and especially the passport bros, keep hollering about the 1950s while completely ignoring the fact that the reason why the economy, the technological advancements, and the baby boom of the 1950s that led to subsequent technological advancement was possible. The reason why it was even possible was due to the work of the Rosie the Riveters of the 1940s, who worked in the factories during World War II. Had it not been for those women who were from diverse backgrounds, they were black, they were white, they were Native American, they were immigrant, you name it. Had it not been for those women coming together and often working 6 days a week to build airplanes, ships, missiles, guns, railroads, and so many other things to keep the country going while the men were at war, World War II would have lasted longer, and the U.S. would not have experienced the mid-century prosperity of the 1950s and onward. However, once the men returned from war, they returned to parades and praise and congratulations, and you know what the women got after all of their efforts back then? They got a bunch of pink slips. It's only been recently that the surviving Rosie the Riveters have been given Congressional Medals of Honor for their efforts. And those efforts are up there in significance within the American society. It's as significant as Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat. But you know what? All of this is another story for another time. So the manosphere think that they want the women of the 1950s who they can individually leave barefoot and pregnant without realizing that it was the propaganda of the 1950s that created her. This is because when the feminine is fully actualized according to her natural potential, she will deem a lot of the males within her patriarchal society as unsuitable and will refuse to do anything that will keep it or the patriarchy stable. Why would she? Why would she keep something stable that oppresses her, takes away her rights, and doesn't allow her to speak? It doesn't make sense. And as a matter of fact, she will shift the society from a patriarchy to one in which is cooperative. In other words, we work together or screw it. There will be nothing at all for either one of us. I don't care. That's what it was switched to. So the West 4B movement in particular signifies the nothing at all aspect of what happens when women pull the linchpin. You know, they've said it, the women of West 4B movement have said basically, screw it. You have bull crap and reality mixed up. And I am going to show you what the reality is, that we women don't need marriage or babies. We don't need your dates or your dingaling. That dingaling is nothing more than a $400,000 bill waiting to happen to us. And there's a high chance that you're going to dip out on us. So, you know what? We'll go without all of it. And this West 4B movement, it has the men shook. And the reason why they're so shook is because they've been told all of their lives that we women will do anything. We're desperate. We'll do anything for them. And they've also been told that we women come a dime a dozen, that we're just so abundant. You know, you go through one, you get another one, just like that, as if we're on a carousel, a vending machine or something. And so the West 4B movement has shown them the truth. And in addition to that, I personally put it out there that there is a shortage of women. And that's not me saying it. That's what the numbers are saying. The economics are saying it. So these men are shook, are the ones that are on the side of being the immature masculine. And in addition to that, another movement that is taking place is the Boys Sober movement, where women are taking the time to focus on themselves, regroup, heal, enjoy life, travel, gaining hobbies and so forth. So a fully actualized feminine will want to be in a society that's cooperative. However, in a society that functions like Iran, the brash aspect of the energy of Sekhmet is what is needed, because this is an energy that can outmatch the strongest man on the planet. These immature masculines that are running that country, they have to be made afraid of the women. And this is the only way to do it. And nature will empower the women. In fact, Sekhmet's name literally means the powerful one. One of the most common statues that have been found in ancient Egypt, dug up by archaeologists, is that of Sekhmet, because the society did everything to keep her energy happy and balanced, and not just spiritually. There is that aspect. Disclaimer, I do participate in the spiritual things, but also in the mundane and practical sense as well. They knew that women had to be free and able to openly articulate themselves without restrictions, or else Sekhmet's energy will rampage, or else the society will be thrown into chaos. So don't be surprised if you begin to hear stories about women who are manhandling men and their pygmies, who are talking to them any kind of way, who are daring them to say something else, or daring them to do something about it. Yeah. You're going to start seeing that over there in Iran, over there in Afghanistan. Eventually, you will. You see, it takes a lot for Sekhmet to begin to rampage, and that rampaging will only stop by divine intervention. They're going to have chaos on their hands. This is why the ancients, through their texts, through their sculptures and temples, passed this knowledge down, because it does not happen often that things get to the point where Sekhmet start rampaging. But when it does, it flips everything on its head. Ladies, listen, this is an aspect of who we are naturally as women. That a threat against our existence is a threat against the natural order, and nature will respond by using dark feminine energy. So that's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so that you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Take care until next time.